Hey everybody, it's now time for my daytime real life gray and blue sweatsuit with zipper superhero intro for various reviews, rants, and other topics. This is a special daytime version with the same costumes and the same intro songs, only this time reverse. In this version, the new Netflix song I debuted in the previous Netflix Something You Can Never Own song I debuted in the previous video that will play as the intro, and my walkout song will once again be Jeff Hardy's Modest to the Top in this version. The second version will be the same thing, with Kurt Angle's theme being my walkout song, and my taunts and mannerisms will be the same. They will be similar to Teddy Hart, Monty Brown, Bobby Lashley, Hulk Hogan, the Sonic character Knuckles, and finishing it off with Ryu's Hadouken. So once again, you're wondering where I got the song Netflix. You can find it easily here on YouTube, but if you want to know, just message me, and I'll give you the link to the song, or tell you how to find the song. But the song is Netflix, Neeflex. That's the name of the band. That's the name of the band or singer that performs it, and the song is called Something You Can Never Own. I got the song from a YouTube user named Andy Mellon, who does a lot of anime and abridged series reactions. So, with that being said, let me get started right now.
Don't wanna sleep in, cause I got something to prove. I gotta take what I hate and finally make a move. I think of you and all the shit you gon' do. Well, I'ma make hella sure that I don't become you. Have no regrets, yeah, outside of my chest. I'll never forget what it's like to be in debt. Been stabbed in the back bed, I'll show you what happens. Pass me the mic and I'll show you with action. I feel this pain, you already know. Turn that to gains, let my money show. I've got these things that I can't let go. Watch me turn this life into something that you could never own. I feel this pain, you already know. Turn that to gains, let my money show. I've got these things that I can't let go. Watch me turn this life into something that you could never own.
Sup people, now time for my remade 2024 daytime real life superhero review and overview of the 1993-94 cartoon Double Dragon. This is the season 1 portion. This is the season 1 portion And episode 2, The Legend Continues, will play in the background, since I always use The Shadow Falls episode 1 in the background. Yeah, since this is a weapons-based series, I will have my swords in this video. One will be in my hand, the other will be on my back. Yeah, and I will be since this series features masked identities, I will be wearing the COVID mask on my face again without the shades. Especially since I did shades in all the other ones. I used the shades in all the other ones. So with that being said, let's get started right now. Once again, to see the previous versions, the links will be in the description box below. But the previous webcam versions, the only one will be in the description box below, and the comment sections on both of those will be disabled, because this is the updated one now. Double Dragon 1993, one of my all-time favorite and best cartoons, and one of the best in the Double Dragon franchise. This has a mixed to negative reception amongst fans of the Double Dragon games. Some 90s nostalgics and 90s nostalgic cartoon animated series like myself love this cartoon. I think it's one of the best cartoons ever. But there are others who hate and can't stand. Just my camera for a bit. Hold on. Yeah. But there are hardcore who think it's one of the best cartoons ever. But there are those hardcore Double Dragon video game fans who genuinely just can't stand this cartoon. Man, sorry about these difficulties, people. Yeah, hardcore Double Dragon fans. Hardcore Double Dragon fans hate this cartoon for the changes they made to the source material. Double Dragon, the video game, was about two martial art vigilantes who own a martial arts dojo, who take it upon themselves to combat the Black Dragon gang on the bad streets of Japan, in a post-apocalyptic Japan, after their girlfriend Marin gets punched in the stomach and kidnapped by the Black Dragon gang. And across several levels, across the entire city of Japan, they fight several boss characters before they finally come face to face with the main antagonist, the leader of the Black Dragon gang himself. Yeah, that was the what's his name? In my opinion, that plot is good enough for a movie, but for a primetime animated series, this is the style. This is the way to go. See, they took that. They kept elements of that, but they made them more superheroes here. They made them more superheroes here, where they're masked crusaders and crime fighters fight, deputized by the police, fighting crime on the back streets of Metro City, which is where Guy, Cody, Hager and Jessica from Final Fight hang out in this cartoon right here. Like I said, I thought that version this version was way better for primetime animated series. I also like I also like that version because this version is much more. This version is much more real. This version is much more realistic. You can't just take matters in your own hand, going around fight crime self. You have to have a license to do that. You have to have some kind of license. You have to be a law enforcer, military agent or something, agent or something to go out. Which goes so them being deputized by police makes what they're doing legal. It makes it a little bit more realistic, despite the fantastic nature of the cartoons. And fantasy elements did appear in the later Double Dragon, Double Dragon gang. So fantasy and supernatural elements are not strangers to the Double Dragon franchise. Something fancy to understand if you play like all the Double Dragon games. So yeah, just like with Street Fighter and Mortal Kombat, except this one was forced to deviate even more so than those cartoons did. This takes elements of the game. The first two episodes are based on the entire game. Following these two episodes, the first two episodes of season 1, following these two episodes, the shadow falls and the legend begins. The show becomes its own. The first episode is loosely based upon the NES game. The NES version of Double Dragon, because of cartridge constraints, could not have the Lee brothers on the screen at the same time on the first level, so they came up with the idea to have one of the Lee brothers be evil, the Jimmy Lee, the red one. He will be raised by the Black Dragon game to be evil. The Shadow Master here in this cartoon. To be evil, and Billy Lee will be raised to be heroic, good, will be raised to fight for justice. Billy Lee, they were separated at birth, and they will meet as adults. And you fight Jimmy Lee on the first level. After this, Jimmy Lee goes straight, and he joins you for the rest of the game. In this cartoon, the oldest dragon raises Billy Lee in the ways of the good, the fight for truth, justice, and the code of the dragon. The Shadow Master raises Jimmy Lee. The Shadow Master raises Jimmy Lee to be evil. Evil to fight and serve evil. They were both separated as kids, with John Lee delivering Billy Lee off to the oldest dragon's temple, and John Lee disappearing for the rest of the series. We never get to see him. They finally meet and briefly oppose each other. As adults. However, in the second episode, the Shadow Master betrays Jimmy Lee. After Jimmy Lee fails him once again, and Billy Lee, even though Jimmy Lee imprisoned him earlier, saves his life, and in return Jimmy Lee helps Billy Lee escape, and they take the fight to the Shadow Master and his goons, driving him away for the time being, and they become deputized by Mirren, who in this adaptation is a cop. In the movie, they made her a gang leader. Here, she's a cop, deputized by Mirren to fight crime on the back streets of Metro City. And that's pretty much season 1. Martial arts, life lessons, and crime fighting on the back streets of Metro City. In season 2, the storyline becomes even bigger, but this is season 1. Season 2 is way better than season 1. However, season 1 is more memorable, more iconic, and overall just more exciting. The episodes of season 1 were the most exciting, with the supreme best episodes being episodes 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh yeah, 1 through 5, and 1 through 5, and 11 through 13. The first 2 episodes are so good that they're so good that you're not gonna want to watch the rest of the series because the first 2 episodes were such an awesome introduction. They were straight off the page from the video game. One of the first bosses you encounter in the game is Boa Bobo. Boa Bobo and Willie, who in the game is the main antagonist. Here he's a throwaway. Here he's a opening act henchman, just like Boa Bobo. But Boa Bobo, the big muscular mutant dude. He's the first guy you fight, and he's a big, tough martial arts wrestling mutant-looking guy who throws trash cans at you, and he does that to Jimmy Lee here. Then you got Willie, the crazy goofy cowboy, who just like in the game, he has guns, he has blasters, and he used those against Jimmy Lee. So you see the Double Dragon arcade game come out before you. Then episode climaxes with Billy Lee squaring off with Jimmy Lee. Squaring off with Jimmy Lee, who is the first incarnation of the Shadow Master. In the second episode, the real Shadow Master. In my opinion, one of the most evil and one of the most scariest bosses in Saturday morning cartoons. I love this character, but I love this character was a cool character, but I hated this character personality-wise and badly want to see him fall. They did a good job of creating an evil, despicable, creepy villain, especially after we did the Willie and Bobo, 2 characters from the game. One thing I didn't like, Bobo and Willie, 2 characters from the game, were only in the first half of the second episode, and they were sucked onto a mural. And trapped there for the rest of the series. We never saw them again. They never had their redemption moment. Yeah, they were too bumbling and goofy to be villains for like the entire series. They deserve a redemption where they would eventually join the Lee brothers to combat the bigger threat in the Shadow Master and his new minions. And yes, another thing, they replaced those 2 awesome minions from the game with a couple of minions from the games who for a while I didn't remember their names. Were Trigger Happy, Jawbreaker, Countdown, and Sickle. I think that guy's name is Sickle. Yeah, Sickle. Yeah, that was episode 1 and 2. Then you have 3. Then you have 3 where and throughout the series they built their own Street Fighter. They built their own Street Fighter, Power Ranger, Saint Seiya, Ronin Warrior style team of called the Dragon Warriors. In episode 3 they meet a sumo named Tsunami. They also befriend another ally, the Tsunami's teacher, Su-Win, who is an ally and a teacher to the Double Dragon characters. 4, Colonel McReady, who reminds me of Jax from Mortal Kombat, Jax from Mortal Kombat, TJ Combo from Killer Instinct, and Jonathan Blade from the video game, Sega Genesis fighting game Eternal Champions. And one of the many Afro-American characters in the show. 4, that was 4. I was 4 and 5. You got a Capiora mutant, Capiora style Dragon World who uses Capiora to fight people, acrobatics to fight people, named some acrobatic street guy named Vortex, one of the other cooler characters in the show. Episode 8, you don't ever see him in battle, but one of the darker episodes of the series, as it features Jimmy Lee being framed and sent to prison, you meet a guy named Fireball who has a tragic past, and I'm just surprised they actually told in a children's based cartoon. Then you got Michael Chop Pillar, amputee guy with only one arm, a rare amputee double dragon warrior. Then you got the most violent dragon warrior, the female Kami, who is obsessed with making armor to defeat the dragon warrior, to defeat the Shadow Master, to avenge her father. Then you got a series of junior dragons. The most constant one is Michael. The most constant and main one is Michael, who reminds me of Skate from Streets of Rage. Yeah. So what else about so yeah, that was Double Dragon season 1. Just like Street Fighter Mortal Kombat, the cartoon is downright hilarious. Downright hilarious. I saw this cartoon as a kid, loved it. Loved it, still loved it as an adult, but when I got older as well, when I still loved it as a teenager, when I became a teenager, when I became a mid-teenager, I'm talking 15, 6, I'm talking 17 years old, a late teenager, 17 years old. Yeah, this wasn't the masterpiece I remember it being. And I always watched the Witcher YouTube channel first, so I didn't see how awesome the cartoon was until I watched till I sat down and watched every episode in order from 1 to 26, 1 to 26, and I was impressed with how awesome and strong the writing was for such a cheese-tastic anime Chinese anime cartoon. Yeah, this cartoon is a cross between the Ronin Warriors. Oh yeah, the Ronin Warriors, Power Rangers, Fist of the North Stars, like a PG Fist of the North Star, Street Fighter, Knights of the Zodiac, Saint Seiya, Shirato, Legend of the Heavenly Spear, another armored anime. 6, a Chinese anime. It's similar to all those it's similar to all those legendary anime you know, but Chinese and of course the Marvel and DC animated series cartoons. As many of those writers and producers are involved with this were involved with this cartoon. And just like Street Fighter, it shares the Ocean Dub cast with once again with Donovan Morgan and Scott McNeil voicing the main characters. 2 years later, they would do it again in Street Fighter. Here, they're voicing Billy and Jimmy Lee, and the legendary Jim Byrne does an awesome shadow master. Ian Cortlandt, the first version of Ocean of Goku, and he would later appear as Mega Man in his cartoon voices Vortex here. Gary Chalk has several voices, one including the mayor, and I think he's Tsunami in this version. So those were the best episodes. I'm also bringing back the post-episode review reaction so I can talk about them more in depth. Didn't feel like rewatching the series again just to talk about all the episodes here. So I'll do it now. So yeah, this was the awesome season 1, which was the most exciting. Season 2 was way better, but this was this season right here was much more exciting. Alright, season 2 is coming next. Alright, it's time for the final part to my Double Dragon 1993 review and overview 2024 daytime real life superhero remake. Yeah, this is season 2. This will be much shorter because I really don't have that much to discuss. Compared to the first one, and I'm saving all the episodes. For saving all my material for the actual episodes themselves. Didn't feel like rewatching each one to gauge what happened to remember what happened throughout the series. Season 2, episode 11, episode 10, The Ancients Won't Arrive, will play in the background. So with that being said, let me get started right now. Like I said in part 1, this season right here was way better than the previous season. This season, better animation, better better animation, better and cooler armor. They got 2 armor upgrades this season. Better armor, and a much bigger, a much gigantic and larger storyline, which a lot of people, including the Double Dragon Dojo fan, there's a huge Double Dragon fan who has his own website containing everything Double Dragon, the episode, everything Double Dragon. He has episode summary reviews of all the episodes and of all the material ever introduced with Double Dragon, even their 1994 live action movie, which I'm also going to review much later or tomorrow. Double Dragon. So Double Dragon. And he criticized the change of format in the show. I'm gonna address his criticisms here, and any other one who criticizes the change in format. The show didn't change; it evolved. Yes, this season the first season was about life lessons, martial arts, crime, and drugs combating drugs on the bad streets of Metro City. This show keeps that, but it evolves into something more. It evolves from that to mythical dragons fighting each other, and mutants fighting for and finding equality in the world. Just like X-Men, who one of the producers of X-Men the animated series, Avi Arad, was involved. And I consider this show, like many other 90s cartoons, to be an influence of X-Men the animated series. Of course, they're borrowing elements from that. That was one of the most influential and important cartoons of the 90s, alongside Batman the Animated Series, which I see some of that here. Batman the Animated Series and the DC Animated Series that came afterwards. And of course, I forgot to mention in part 1, I mentioned Street Fighter, but especially not only Street Fighter, but Street Fighter 2, the anime film. One of the other pieces of important animation that was in the 90s. Now, other things I didn't like about this season, which is why I don't watch it as much as season 1, was number 1, Marin, the characters we want to see, Marin and the other Shadow Warriors, Marin, Vortex, Tsunami, Kami, Fireball, and Michael Chop Pillar, who we want to see, and of course I mentioned the other characters, Bobo and Willie, who you don't see those two at all. Those other characters are relegated to supporting roles, especially Marin. Marin is a minor character. She's not even supporting anymore. She's minor now. And make way for this mutant lion hybrid character in Dodge of the Mutants. Dodge of the Mutants fighting for equality in the world. And then another annoying character is this kid with glasses who loves playing video games and treats everything, including life and death situations, like a video game, and has to learn not to do that. And his archaeologist and his dad, who's an archaeologist. Yes, make way for these people. Who are you going to be seeing? These people a lot over all the characters I want to see. I want to see. So yeah, these are the weaker parts of this season. And the other weak part I didn't like is that this is unfortunately the final season of Double Dragon. Double Dragon will be canceled. They never freed their mom from the abyss, which I forgot. That was a plot point in season 1. That was a plot point in season 1 where they traveled to a mysterious realm called the abyss, that the Shadow Master trapped their mother in, and they couldn't free her in that episode. So, and they did it during this season either. So that was one problem I have, and one problem I had that the show ended that wasn't resolved. And they never found their father, John Lee, who hasn't been seen since the first episode of the series. And third, the Shadow Master, while he was defeated in the end, and while he defeated the other main antagonist this season, the Shadow Master, there was never an episode or a scene where he was shown being permanently killed or jailed for all his actions throughout the series. He was defeated in the end, so we at least got that. But yeah, and the other bad guy, Shadow Khan, who reminds me of Shang Tsung and a prototypical Quan Chi, a sorcerer-based villain who was pretty cool but annoying at the same time. He had an annoying voice, but his design and powers were pretty cool. The Shadow Khan. They defeated him by burying him under rubble, and I think in the episode you're watching right now, the ancient ones. One other thing I didn't like about this, and this is something I didn't learn until my second my second viewing of this series when I watched season 1 and 2 together, was two episodes air out of order. Actually, one episode airs out of order. For some odd reason, episode 13 was supposed to be episode 7. That was supposed to be the big RPM episode, which was a great episode. It was another drug episode. This drug episode was better than the one from the first one, which the first one was more of a personal service PSA, personal service message episode. Whereas this one was a straight action adventure drug episode, the episode RPM, where the characters get hooked on an RPM episode, one of the best episodes in the series. They aired this as the finale instead of airing the much more awesome Shadowmonger, which was the battle of two dragons, one good represented by the Lee brothers, and the evil one represented by the Shadow Master. Yeah, that was those are the only 4 weaknesses. But like I said, the pros was supreme animation. The animation looks like a cross between Disney's Aladdin, that other Hercules animated movie from the 90s, and and an upgraded version of the DC and Marvel animated series, and Chinese and Japanese animation. So yeah, animation quality is even better this season. It's anime, it's movie like this season. The first season looks like a cartoon in a Japanese anime. This looks like that and a gigantic, big budget Disney animated film this season. Like I said, cool armor. They first have this cool Shogun armor versus the weird Kabuki style armor they had in part 1. The weird Kabuki style armor with the markings in part 1. This cool Shogun armor is way cooler. Then later they upgrade to some upgraded Kabuki style armor with, instead of markings, metallic gold and cool weird face masks. Face masks and new swords, which this was even cooler. So yeah, way cooler armor and much bigger actions. Episodes, like I said, episodes 10, the ancient ones arrive. 11, 10, the ancient ones arrive. 10, episode 11, episode 12, which I think is Dodge of the Mutants, which is that, I think this is the actual final episode. Then the RPM episode. These 4 are the greatest episodes this season. The weakest episode I saw this season was the video game theme episode, where I mentioned this annoying kid who likes video games treats everything like a game. The episode was well written, it was okay, but it was just weak because we want to see Marin and the Shadow and the Dragon Warriors, and other characters from the game. Instead of these new original characters, no one cares about. Then you got yeah, another interesting thing was the character Jawbreaker. I can't remember whether it was this season or last season. The character Jawbreaker transforming. Oh, one of the only characters from the Shadow Masters team to become a good guy. That was shocking. And then another character, Countdown, suffering another horrific fate. Another reason I wanted to see the Shadow Master defeated. Now, while it was the Shadow Khan's fault who convinced Countdown to betray the Shadow Master in the first place, imprisoning him inside a shield was still a gruesome punishment. But that goes to show you that despite the fact that this is a silly, fun martial arts action adventure comedy cartoon for kids, doesn't shy away from darkness and violence. The Shadow Master did a bunch of wicked things in this cartoon, and like I said, he never saw full comeuppance. He was defeated finally in episode 12, but he doesn't look like that completely finished him off. That just drove him away. There was never an episode where he was permanently killed or captured. Yeah, this is also one thing Street Fighter, the animated series, has over this, and the later produced Mortal Kombat series. They have a final episode. They have an episode where the good guys finally finish off the bad guys. So, yeah, this has been my review of Double Dragon. You want to hear the rest of the music and see my mannerisms? Turn the video off now, and to see the original parts, the links will be in the description box below. Post-episode review and reactions will be in the future, so I can talk more in depth without these videos becoming long. So with that being said, you want to hear the rest of the music? Turn the video off right now.
Cause I got something to prove. I gotta take what I hate and finally make a move. I think of you and all the shit you don't do. Well, I'ma make hella sure I don't become you. Have no regrets, yeah, I'm tired of my chest. I'll never forget what it's like to be in debt. Been stabbed in the back bed, I'll show you what happened. Don't wanna sleep in, cause I got something to prove. I gotta take what I hate and finally make a move. I think of you and all the shit you don't do. Well, I'ma make hella sure that I don't become you. Have no regrets, yeah, I'm tired of my chest. I'll never been trapped in the back bed. I'll show you what happens. Pass me the mic and I'll show you with action. I feel this pain, you already know. Turn that to gains, let my money show. I've got these things that I can't let go. Watch me turn this life into something that you could never own. I feel this pain, you already know. Turn that to gains, let my money show. I've got these things that I can't let go. Watch me turn this life into something that you could never own. So fight and fight and fight. Do what you think is right, and you like to let you fall. So fight and fight and fight for the things you know you love. Do what you think is right, and you like to let you fall. So give me all the scars, I'm a human being. Cover them with tattoos so you can't see. Knew it from the start, you had problems with me and the things I could be, I just wish I had seen. I feel this pain, you already know. Turn that to gains, let my money show. I've got these things that I can't let go. Watch me turn this life into something that you can never own. I feel this pain, you already know.